All right, so this one is called niche tube conversion. Now, Frank, I believe you've had some experience with this as well. I was ranting on and on about this for some time, and this is actually a part of the first episode of the WSO show.
Yes.
And I didn't have a lot of time to dig through it at the time, and I was mostly accurate.
Yeah.
Some of the traffic generation strategies that I assumed were being implemented in niche tube conversion, I was wrong about that. But for the most part, I was spot on when I was talking about it in the live show. But even more so, this product is actually created by Steve Ben, and I don't know a lot about this guy, but he's got some really good content. Like, I'll be totally honest. When it comes to YouTube content, I always have a little bit of a hesitation of like, okay, am I really going to learn something here? But hey, I don't want to sound too proud, but a lot of times that's the case. I'm like, okay, I get excited to learn something new about YouTube, and I usually don't. But with this, I learned a bunch of new things, and my review folder is actually pretty thick with stuff. Now, before I go nuts into this, Frank, what was your initial impression of niche tube conversion?
My initial impression again was out of how many years have I been looking at YouTube stuff before YouTube was the go-to place, before video was hot, before you had commercials on the web, and all that. I've been buying everybody's stuff, and I can
Before it was cool, right?
oh yeah, and I can honestly say that you and I have talked about it before. Um, how much are you going to tell me that I haven't either dug up, bled for, or bought? Um, you really have to bring something, and if somebody says, well, did you know that they're the second largest search engine? And I go, yeah,
Yeah.
but thank you for telling me again. And I'm sure you're going to tell me why mobile apps or mobile is where video is headed to. And he didn't even go there, which was super surprising.
Right.
It was extremely professionally done. Awesome videos, awesome audio. Didn't spew information out too fast. Didn't spew it out too slow. The videos weren't 50 minutes. They also weren't 2. Everything
Yeah.
was done extremely step by step, easy to follow. I too took notes. Um, and I found myself going back and checking it again because as simple as he made it, I knew I missed something because it can't be that simple. So I then gobbled it up. It took a couple of days, but then turned around and put it to work. Actually, his CPC parts that are in there, and actually put the course to a massive test with my wife's business, and he's a pretty smart guy. I got an ad okayed last night in 5 minutes.
Full.
Yeah, which
Nah.
and it was Facebook, but still, and it was at night. So by using his checklist, I mean literally 5 minutes. It was no exaggeration. It was a total redesign of an ad, so there was nothing used from a previous ad where their robot just said, "Oh, okay, yeah, go ahead and do this."
Right.
I
So,
went
so
down his stuff, had the video or had the picture, and put it up. And 5 minutes later, we were approved and getting clicks. So
so you're talking about there's a part in the course where
in his course, that's CPC.
in the course where he says sometimes it's harder to get into the advertising, getting your ad approved.
Yes.
And he actually has a checklist for you to go through to make sure it gets approved. And
Absolutely.
That's what you were talking about, Frank. That's
Yeah,
okay.
step by step. Yes, and I'm not a CPC guy, and even though everybody says that's how you get your traffic and that's how you do everything else, I'm afraid to lose money on it. I've heard Anthony Ayres say, that was his way, and then, you can throw money away, and you can do this, and you can do that, and, Dr. Ben and all those guys, and they're all saying, hey, you got to use it, and it's just like, no, man, I'm not jeopardizing even $50.
Yeah.
But then I went, okay, you got to bite the bullet and fail sometime, but hey, you know what? Within 24 hours, we've got 27 clicks. We're getting some conversion going. So, a little bit's a little bit. Have we made a profit on what we've spent? Not yet, but also give it a little time.
Yeah.
There's notice out there, So it's a very tight niche. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, I love that. I love being able to actually use something right down the line and saw an immediate, and again, this is not getting paid by him, don't know him at all. You brought it to my attention. I looked at it. I used it. I really like it. I think even if you YouTube or video or anything else, to go through it, you get so much more than what you paid. I mean, there's a great amount of content, and hopefully, excuse me, hopefully we'll be able to do an interview with him soon, and sit down and talk with him once the craziness of a launch and everything gets settled down. And
right.
Now he's going to be the go-to guy for a lot of people. He's going to be a busy guy because he did put out something that just, blew my socks off.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that was my part. So I've got a 2 thumbs up on it, and, now it's your turn to re-rant.
Yeah. It's time to re-rant. Are you ready? So well, I didn't do any of the CPC stuff because by the time I got to that point, I was already 8 pages into my notes. So I figured that I should probably stop there so that this particular review doesn't go on for hours and hours. But when I saw that checklist for the to make sure that you get your ads approved, I went, okay, this is a guy who's actually done some testing. And as I dug through more and more of the content, I found that Steve, when he put this together, he actually ran it through quite a few beta testers.
Yes.
And they actually came back with a lot of information. And so it also helped. There's actually a few case studies, I think, that came out of it. Very, very cool stuff, because I'm one of those guys, like, I want to see, like, no, seriously, just show me what happened. Don't tell me, show me. Like, let me see. Absolutely. And let me process the numbers in my head, right? So like, the biggest thing that blew my mind about this is how finely tuned he's got this. And it's not just a bunch of vague generalities. And the other part of this, and this is something that I didn't realize was a problem, but there's a lot of times where products just don't get to people after they buy them, like a lot. And Steve saw that and he went, you know what? I want to make sure no matter what, he has like 5 or 6 different like redundancy plans where just, yes, if this doesn't work, then your email, then this guy, then this guy, then this guy, whatever it is, you know what's going on. If the unfortunate situation comes up where something happened and a hiccup in the system and you paid for it but you didn't get it, or you don't see it, or you didn't find it, or didn't whatever, it's all there. He's got you covered. And again, that just shows to me again how finely tuned he's got his process and his system, and how much he's got it dialed in to make sure that this whole thing works well, because getting it in your hands is the most important part, right? So
yeah, and what I loved is he, like you said, he has contingencies for all this stuff. But what made me feel calmer about it was it's all there.
Yep.
I mean, it's all there. So once you're in the door, you're there. If you don't see it, it's because you're not looking.
Yeah.
And if you're following it step by step, it's, hey, and now here, and now here, and now here. I mean, you can't miss it.
Yeah.
It's not like, this has got a really weird name to it, and where does it go in the list?
Right.
It's like literally here, and now here, and it's like, I got you.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing that really impressed me when I first logged into the membership area, the first video was a very nice, basic welcome video that was also like, okay, here's everything that you're going to learn. You're going to learn this and this and this and this and this and this, and went through the whole thing. and then said, all right, now let's get started. And I'm a big picture kind of guy. I want to know, I want to basically see some kind of syllabus when it comes to my education. I want to see, okay, I'm going to learn how to do, how to make apps or create YouTube channels or do whatever it is that I need to do. I want to know what I'm going to be learning at the end, so that when he says, okay, that's the end of the course, I can go, yes, I did learn this thing. And
Right.
that was, helped him a lot.
And I guess I don't do it in that same process, but mentally, of course, especially if somebody says we're going to go over all this and you're going to know this by the time we're done, I might not go back and look at it and go, oh, see, you didn't teach me that. I don't I remember the first video, and it was really well put together, but I didn't have to go back and go, oh, he promised me this, because what I got was an incredible change. I mean, it was something that I didn't go, oh wow, that's just that kind of worth it.
Yeah.
Like I said, I want to meet the guy. I want to talk to him. I think he did. You studied the front end a whole lot more, where I was grabbing onto the CPC and the case studies, and something I didn't even know was British sterling. That stuff, man, compared to the American dollar.
Oh.
Holy smokes. I mean, he even did the conversions to show us, he got paid in US dollars, but when you convert it and this and that, and how much did he make? And he even says, I didn't hit it out of the ballpark, but if I would do this exact same process over and over again, it's just multiplying that amount. And I went, yeah, that's what everything is. Right. That's what I do. I might not make a killing with one of my offline clients, but if I've got 10 of them, then that's where the process is working, and that's what it is. You're not going to, Donald Trump is not going to hire me today. Maybe tomorrow, but not today. But I need to work out 10 or 15 to have my money coming to where I need to live. So he's very honest.
Yeah, and as I was going through the content, I was seeing that, okay, yeah, this guy goes into a lot of, like, interestingly enough, I think he sort of appeased both of our personalities, right? Because I was going into the content, you were going into the CPC stuff, and we were both looking at it going, well, hey, we're learning some new stuff, and as long as it's implemented correctly, then you're just fine, and it's just a matter of scalability at that point, which is always enticing to any business person or marketer, which is scalability, which, looking at, again, the content, both content and what Frank was talking about, both of those things are scalable. And correct me if I'm wrong, Frank, that's one of the big reasons why we're both going, heck yeah.
Oh, no, I definitely, as an introduction for me, as an introduction into the CPC, I've seen it before. Not in great masses, and not, a whole system or things, but I've seen, I've read, I've learned, I know the concept of it, but I just not willing to gamble on something.
Yeah.
But seeing it broke down in a simpler fashion, more step by step, I was able to go, okay, now I might not, a click's going to cost me some money, and that might not convert on this one, but you've got to look at the whole campaign. If the campaign is successful, then copy it again.
Yep.
If not, change something, and that's what I loved. And like you said, we both went into the same thing, the same course, basically to look at it, to do a review, and we each had our eyes on, okay, what's this going to be? And, cynics, I guess. But if we're going to be doing a review show and be honest about things, I want to be honest about it. I want to be. Yeah. I'm not going to be one of these guys that say, "Oh, and there's our link. Go buy it." This, we've spent more time on just this.
I'll say it.
Well, hey, I'll whore out and say go do it. I mean, that's your choice. Go look at the sales page, make your decision. But if I find something worth it, I definitely want to pass it on. There's a difference between, hey, this is what it is, and go take a look, and hopefully it works out for you, and, hey, really, this is awesome material, and you need to check it out.
Yeah.
So there's a difference there, and I was glad that you told me to look at it. So
Yeah, well, and anytime I start geeking out, I know that that's a point where I need to turn to you, Frank, and go, yeah, you need to check this out, because there's a lot of stuff that we're working on a constant basis, and if we're not seeing eye to eye, then we our business isn't moving. So to kind of give you an overview of what to expect in the content, like right out of the gate, he jumps into your niche, and if you know anything about me, I'm all about niches, and I'm all about doing your research and understanding your audience. So right out of the gate, Steve says, this is the first thing you do, and I go, I agree, absolutely, that totally makes sense. Again, as opposed to some YouTube products out there that don't really go into a whole lot of figure out what your market wants. It's just more about, I don't want to. I'm not trashing. So niche marketing, that's the key. And he even goes into a very, very cool example that I really liked and opened my eyes. That he created kind of this pyramid and said, okay, now this is where the majority of people are, and this is where the this tiny minuscule piece is. Don't focus on one or two. You can do all right in one. Avoid three, but two is a pretty good place if one's too full, as far as like marketplaces and stuff.
Right. And how to find out if
exactly
where that 1, 2, and 3 is.
Exactly. Yeah. And more of a formula. Oh man, I'm terrible with formulas. So having something where I can go, oh, it's this, that. Okay. Oh, here and here. Boom. I could just go. Love it. Then he talks about conversion, another really important thing. But conversion goes hand in hand with your niche. If you're going to be doing anything, you want to make sure that there's money in the niche, or else you're not going to make any money. So he emphasizes making sure that the niche, whatever content that you're creating, is succinct with making sure that there's money in the market. But he's also got some really, really cool research techniques that show you if there's money in a market or not. So so if you're not quite sure if the market that you're passionate about and you're really jazzed about, if it has a lot of value in it, he has a formula that says, okay, do this, this, and this, and if it's closer to this number, you're good. If it's closer to this number, stay away.
Right.
Well, yeah,
you can always have a hobby, but if you're trying to make a living at it, there's got to be money coming in.
Yeah. And then he started going into the paid traffic type stuff, and that's where again I was wrong. I thought that it was a different traffic generation technique, which is still viable, but when it comes down to paid traffic, I mean, you're paying for the traffic, so there's no you're going to get traffic,
right? And
done correctly, right? Like putting all the pieces in the right places, you go, okay, well, this traffic costs this much, but by this point, I've got $200,000. So what's the big deal, right?
Right.
And I made like a surprised face in this. Oh yeah, that was doing the formula. The formula to figure out the value. I drew a face on my notes going, oh, because I was so surprised. There's the pyramid groups. Content creation. Got some really smart ideas on that. Even that's the only part I kind of go, well, it's paid traffic. So if it's paid traffic and you are sending to offers that make money, then the video creation itself, the technique is valid. But if you haven't made sure that it's going to make money like he suggests, then his video creation concept doesn't really work. But if you don't follow the rest of the system, none of it works either. So that's my only caveat, if you will, is that when he says, okay, this is the kind of content that you're going to create and how you're going to create it, I go, but you've done enough before that you should still be okay and a good system.
Well, yeah, and that's it. It's the step in his system. Now, if you want to step out and do it differently, you're kind of upsetting the apple cart. But if you're just adding to it, there's more value, there's more production or whatever, then that's just more going into it. Yeah. But using what he says in his system is viable no matter what, because he tells you you've already done everything else to make sure that you're going to make money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's not a guess. It's if it makes sense throughout this whole process, then this piece is easy.
Yeah. Well, and really, when it comes down to conversion, and that's really what I'm talking about when it comes to video. Um, that's the part I always have a problem with when it comes to YouTube stuff is the video stuff and the conversion, because conversion takes place during the video. You're getting targeted traffic to the video, and now it's time for the video to convert them to something. Now, if it's a
Right.
badly done video, then it's not going to convert, and you've wasted all of that energy, and that's my big beef. But again, with the system that Steve has, my viewpoint on the production of the video is not valid anyway, so we're good. See, we've got Ultra Geo Target. Yeah, through some of the techniques that he teaches about Facebook, you can get some seriously cool geo-targeted kind of stuff, and I wish I would have known that before with some of the other products that I've sold, honestly.
Well, and I've known how Facebook's really cool about instantaneous as you build your ad, telling you how big your market is.
Mm.
And the one thing that I got from him was the exact opposite of my belief, which was, okay, there's how many billion people on Earth? I've got to hit the majority of them in order for me to, shotgunning it. And he goes, no, 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 no. Put the shotgun down, grab the rifle. Yeah. Target in on the people that are going to be buying your demographic, the demographic you just looked for, the demographic we just did this whole process for. Mm-hmm. Just go to them. It's a smaller number, but they're the ones paying the money on whatever it is that you're trying to sell or do. So stop wasting your money with, Joe Buck watching football who's got Facebook on, and he just clicked on your product or your ad because he thought it was something else. Yeah. And just cost you money, and there's no way he's buying your lady's underarm deodorant. So
exactly. You might. You never know.
He might. Yeah.
But well, and that's the beauty of Facebook as I see it, as far as Facebook advertising for the paid advertisements, because I've been in the opposite situation of Shotgun. Interestingly, oddly enough, is that I didn't want everyone else to see the ad. I wanted specific people to see the ad, but I knew who I wanted to see the ad, and like you were saying, like it tells you like this is how many people you'll reach, and then it can shrink or expand or what have you. But if you can sort of create new pools of those specially targeted, man, you are rocking and rolling.
Well, and what he got me to do was not build an ad and see what it did. I actually, I think we've got 6 ads running right now. In anything, and he said, if you're going to change something very minor, so that you can track what it is, what change worked for that test, so that you're constantly going and, being offline and being marketing and doing ads. Yeah, but it usually takes a really long time to tweak an ad. In quote unquote the real world, you're gonna, how long do you wait? How long's this? Well, he said, no. Go make a few of them if you want, and have them set up differently, and
you're not gonna break
this and everything else. And it was funny is, if you are scared, just bet a couple of bucks.
Yeah.
He doesn't say you need to put out a few thousand. I think he said $30. Test it with 30. Well, and that's going to be your market. And I'm like, come on, dude, with $30, we've already got a huge pool, and we haven't even spent 10 yet.
Yeah. Well, like the other side of it is that I'm seeing Facebook emails from Facebook saying, "Hey, here's $50 of free Facebook credit."
Oh, man, what do you think I'm using?
No, there you go. There you go.
Right now, so I'm not as scared about it, but it's still. When it shows that it's building, when we've honed in our ad right, yeah, I'm going to throw money at it. I'm going to throw our money at it.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to be making money back. And it's his system running. So, I'll show you, Zane, off camera and stuff, so that we're not giving away all of our, what it is and things. But it's simple. Well, we froze them, we started them, we've got the testing, and it was because of him. It wasn't because of somebody else or other knowledge. It was do this, 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 and this, and you're going to see something. You're going to see either a sale or no sale, and a profit or no profit, and this is why.
Yeah. Yeah, so, well, he even moves into looking at the last bit of my notes so that we don't make this review too incredibly long. But the last little bit of my notes, he's got this key to massive profits that it's like page 31 in the PDF, because he recommends, he says, go through the PDF, glance over it, and then read the PDF as you go through the videos. But I just read the PDF first. I don't think he really cares. But I think he wanted to make sure that don't just watch the videos, because the PDF has some really, really good information. And so this note that I wrote to myself, page 31 is where key to massive profits starts. And he's got these steps that at that point, that's when my brain started sort of compressing in on itself and melting. But this note that I had that I thought was really really interesting, that touches on what you were talking about. You're zeroing in on your ads, and then later on, once it's humming at a good point, then he even has steps to roll over into more of a maintenance instead of always babysitting it. So I mean, that's how far he's gone through this whole thing. Is just like, here's the beginning and here's the end, and here's some of the stuff in the middle that probably 90% of you won't even try. And again, that's where I was just like, this guy just knows what he's talking about.
And his proof was based off of a small number for him.
Yeah, yeah.
He's got his students raking in 800 or so and so, which doesn't sound like a lot. But again, if you multiply it out 5 or 6 times,
right?
You're talking $4 or $5 grand a month. Mm-hmm. And it takes a little time to find this and hone it in and do it, but not that long. Like I said, I think we talked Thursday, and I looked at it on Friday with everything else I was doing for maybe a half hour, and then Saturday and Sunday I actually sat down with it, and there were football games on and things going on, and I didn't really knock out anything until Sunday night. But I can tell you this, by Sunday night is when our first ad went live, because I sat down and I said, no. I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do it now. And the first ad took about 5-6 hours to get approved. But then, last night's ad that I did, that I built up, and I looked right at it. And again, that was 5 hours of getting the account set up, getting approval, getting, everything going, and just waiting for them to say, yeah, you're a brand new advertiser, so we got to look at you. But last night I went right through the checklist, put everything up, uploaded the JPEG and did all that, and then sat back, walked outside, came back in, and it sat there with the little pop-up that said, your ad's been approved, and it was running. And we already had 3 clicks, and I was like, okay. That was a little scary. What if I would have gone to bed? I would have, how many clicks did I get?
Yeah.
But, you put your safeguards in there, which he talks about, and that's what I liked. It's a great product, and it's cheap.
Yeah. Well, and the last thing about all of this that I wanted to add was that despite all of it, he had the very last bit is that any kind of troubleshooting, he says right at the end, he says we have a Q&A section in the members area where you can ask questions for troubleshooting issues or anything like that. So even when everything's said and done and your brain's just melted with all this information, he backs it up again and says, hey, got any questions? Come on over to the troubleshooting area, and I'll answer them.
Yeah, no, it's solid, man, and it's definitely one that I like. I mean, this is it's not just something that's got a 1 or 2 little nuggets to take away. It's a solid ass piece of teaching out there.
Absolutely. Well, again, it's called a niche tube conversion. And it was created by Steve Ben. I strongly recommend you get it. It gets my seal of approval. And when I started doing this, I didn't think I would get too excited about YouTube products, and here I am getting all excited about a YouTube product. So, niche tube conversion. I don't know. Is there anything else you wanted to add, Frank, before we end this particular review?
Do we know if that's going down soon, though? Because I know it's been out at least a week.
Well, yeah, I'll go check it out myself right now.
I mean, I'm not sure because I know
I'll
that we're
probably
looking
crap that
at a
we're gonna.
couple that we needed to make sure that weren't going up, that were going off. Oh,
Yeah.
look, somebody made $1 today. Sweet.